Let's get it. Being new to the Sister Wife game, I didn't officially start watching Sister Wives until about season 16. Now, that's not to say I wasn't loosely familiar with some of the situations and scenarios and some of the issues that were coming up within the family, but I didn't really start committing myself to watching week after week, episode after episode of Sister Wives until about season 16, when my daughter was watching it. And I gotta tell you, like, there's some things that I kind of suspected about these cast of characters that actually panned out to be true by the time I started watching the show. And previously, I did a whole video on the debate that the Sister Wives and the former polygamists had at UNLV College, where they came out and they had a huge discussion, and the Sister Wives weren't able to fall back to their traditional, well, you don't understand what polygamy is like because you don't know. You know, because they usually are talking to monogamists when they're having these conversations. But now you're dealing with former polygamists, and not only people who are in the AUB, but you're dealing with people who are with like a con artist, the FLDS group, I believe it was the Silverman group or whatever the hell it is. I forget, Silverback or whatever. I don't care, because those are like, I don't even really want to commit them to memory, because I know if I actually start to look into them, I'm going to be very mad and I'm going to be very upset. Even just with some of the things that I found out about them. I'm talking about the group that was associated with Colleen. Even just thinking about them kind of gets me heated. But as I was talking about those things, I did a comparison between Christine, Janelle, Meri, and Kody in 2013 versus where they are now. You know, everything from Christine making an argument that Kody doesn't want you to be there and be sad and upset, so he'll give you money so that way you can leave. And Cody's there nodding his head. You can see his shadow there nodding his head like a little Bobby Cupid doll or whatever. But then... But then by the time they get to season 17, Cody's like, I'm not giving you nothing. Not only am I not going to give you money, I'm going to try to take as much money from you as possible so that I can financially cripple you. So the only thing you'll be able to do is pay attention. Because I'm totally breaking you every opportunity I get. And that's just kind of where they are. He's trying to keep them trapped by 2017. They ain't trying to let nobody go. And I left Robyn out of it because there is a point in Robyn's discussion that I said, wait a minute, I've seen this before. Let's take a look at the first part that I'm more familiar with from season 17 in 2022, where Christine comes out and tells the family that she's leaving, and why she was leaving was because her and Kody had a troubled relationship all the way back in Vegas. And this was Robyn's response.
It looked like in Vegas that you and Dad weren't really close anymore. And
in Vegas?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's a lie.
That's a lie. Then, of course, Robyn said this with all the Sister Wives present, all of them paying attention. And she said it in front of Janelle, who had this to say.
I've been aware that there's been problems for a long time.
For a long time.
Well, I had no idea. I did not know.
You see, because she had no idea. She did not know that there were problems. So even though she just said that y'all didn't have problems, and she went as far as to say, oh, I didn't realize you guys were having problems. She said, no, you a damn lie. You wasn't having no problems. What are you talking about, Willis? And then when Janelle backs her up and says, I've been aware that there have been problems. There's been problems, yes. Don't let her lie to you. And then all of a sudden, Robyn switches gears and jumps to well, I had no idea. I didn't know what, there were problems? For reals? But she knew when she shot on her porch, when she was talking to Meri, that she had a conversation. And during that conversation, she had this to say.
Do you think this was coming before Flagstaff?
Let me see.
Truth be told, Meri,
Truth be told,
she was talking about leaving Kody before I moved Flagstaff.
wait a minute, she was talking about leaving Kody before Flagstaff. But what was before Flagstaff? Oh, Vegas. This is like crazy all the way around. Like one minute you telling Meri something she didn't know. Meri, let me tell you, girl. She said she was going to leave Kody in Flagstaff, girl. And then the next day, you over at Christine's house. We was having trouble since Vegas. What? That's a damn lie. We went from Vegas to here, and you guys were having a beautiful relationship. I remember your relationship. And she's sitting there dabbing her eyes because she's caught up in the lie. And maybe that's her tell. Like, maybe she starts crying when she starts lying. Lying and crying is so close together. Maybe that she likes rhyming, so she's just dropping the dope lyrics. And she's like, I'm going to tell a lie. And she just starts crying. Her eyes get watery. You know, Pinocchio had a nose. Robyn has tears. Who knows? And that's kind of where we were. So when I look back to season 6 and I compare 2022 Robyn, and we do a retrospective and we go back to 2013, this is the Robyn in 2013. And it's not so much what they were talking about, but the way Robyn talked about it. Let's take a look.
Wow, I did all that, and it was all for superstition.
Then I would leave.
Amen, sister.
Then I would leave.
Now keep in mind what Robyn just said. If you don't believe in it anymore, or you think it's just superstition, or it's not working for you, that you would leave. That's what she said.
One time I heard you say you wouldn't live plural marriage if it wasn't your belief, and Robyn said that. And so basically what you're saying is you just said that you would leave if you didn't believe it.
Do not twist my words.
Do not twist my words. Do not say that. Wait, didn't we just hear her say that?
So I'm asking.
No, I said if I woke up and I decided this wasn't going to make me happy anymore, and this didn't work for me, and if I didn't believe this anymore, I would leave.
That's right.
Do not make me a victim, sweetie.
Don't you try to make me a victim by quoting my words back to me and quoting them accurately. Hello. Like, what the shit? This is crazy. Like, I mean, even back then, like, I know that the sister wives were thankful that Robyn was being so forceful and so dynamic and she was on her side. But this goes to a thing that I tell my kids all the time. Like, if somebody is going to cheat with you, they will cheat on you. If somebody is going to lie for you, they will lie to you. Never assume that because you're not the victim of a certain action or activity, because you're not falling subject to somebody's lack of integrity, that all of a sudden you're somehow immune from them turning that lack of integrity back on you. With this particular case, you guys are all sitting there talking with Robyn. Now, either you all know that she's full of crap and you just let it ride because she was on your side, or you must have thought she was eating crayon flavored paint chips in the break room because what she said was absolutely bonkers. Like, Robyn is out there acting crazy as cat shit and nobody is saying nothing. I would have looked over like, are you people serious right now? She just literally said, like, not only did you say it, but you repeated it. And then when I repeated what you repeated, because you said it, then you repeated it, and then I repeated and said that you said it, you get angry with me and say that I'm lying on you, and then you repeat it again. Like, what are we doing? I would have looked at the audience and be like, and this is exactly why polygamy is terrible. Because it's got this woman's mind all banged up. Like, she don't know which way she's going. And the crazy part about it is, aside from the crazy acting and the crazy contradiction in itself, is the fact that I don't think that she's crazy at all. I don't think that Robyn is disturbed. I don't think she's crazy. I don't think that she's damaged. I don't think that she doesn't know what she's doing. I think that Robyn, in and of herself, and the way that she carries herself, is extremely manipulative. And there is a huge difference. Like, we can sit here and make excuses for her. We can make excuses for Kody. And we can try to excuse their bad behavior all day. But when rubber meets the road and I look at this situation, I don't see somebody who is a victim. I agree with Robyn 100%. Do not make her a victim, sweetie. Don't sit here and give her something or credit for something that she doesn't deserve, or try to give her blame for something that's not her fault. Robyn is manipulating the situation all the way through. Don't let her sit here and twist the situation around to where she starts out with the lie and then all of a sudden she regresses. Once she gets caught and she gets cornered with her own words, then all of a sudden she doesn't know anything. I had no idea. I was confused. I don't know what was going on. And you know me, I'm just absent-minded. No, that does everybody in the conversation a disservice. And if you're in a situation where you're trying to actually heal a situation, or you're trying to mend a relationship, you're trying to fix a relationship, you don't have room to let people be comfortable in a lie. That lie will degrade and destroy that any possibility that you could have any kind of meaningful conversation after that. And one of the things that really bothered me was clearly a member of that panel who was on the other side, a young lady by the name of Colleen. I talked about her before, and I talked about her scenario, and I don't really like going over it because it's actually pretty sad the way they did her. And what's even worse is that I feel that a lot of the things that were revealed about her situation and the things that they let slide on TLC, the reality of it for her was far worse. And I don't think that TLC didn't talk about it because they knew it would be too tawdry for their reality show and it wouldn't be appropriate. I think, especially, TLC, the people who brought you Me, My Ex, and My Next, or whatever. My ex is my best friend who I'm secretly screwing behind my girlfriend's back, or MILF Manor. They have tons of shows that are kind of, pushing all kinds of boundaries. So I don't think that it was because TLC was afraid of the tawdry nature of what happened to Colleen. What I think happened was, what happened to Colleen and to some of the other people that sat on that panel, if they actually came out and told people what happened to them, it would create such a nasty or a distaste for so many people with regard to polygamy that it pretty much would have destroyed the Sister Wives franchise. Nobody would want to hear about the Sister Wives and the special relationship that they have when you have people who are living the reality of these types of relationships and telling their stories. So they kind of tamped those stories down. And during one of the previous episodes, when they first originally met Colleen, Meri was talking about the FLDS church, and she was talking about these dresses and saying, just because people are a part of this organization, this religion, we can't paint them with the broad brush or the general reality that everybody in this situation is being taken advantage of or being abused. Now, in that same instance, this is the same story that Kody and the family are telling to these polygamists in this UNLV speech. And in that prior conversation, Robyn was the one who stood up and said this to Meri after Meri tried to say, no, that we can't blame all the FLDS people for their relationships.
Well, we have these people in these communities, and we want to give them the benefit of the doubt, and that's good. But we also need to look at it. As much as it makes us squirm at night, we also need to look at the truth of it, that there's people being hurt here, and they don't know the difference, or they don't know how to get out of it.
What makes it so disgusting to me is that I agree with that tail end part of what she said, where we can't ignore the realities of what's happening to people. I can't ignore the reality of what happened to Colleen and to Christine's aunt, Kristen. I can't ignore those things. I can't ignore what happened to that young man who was from the FLDS, or the previous people who were in those other organizations and polygamous families, and these terrible things happened to them, so much so that they had to escape their families and run away from everything that they've ever known and everything that they've ever had so that they can have some type of freedom and safety. I can't ignore that because I like the Browns family, because I think Christine is kind of cool, or Janelle is kind of cool, or Meri or Robyn or Kody or whatever the case may be, and I think they're kind of silly in a funny way. I can't ignore those other relationships and the reality of how polygamy can affect those other people. How this is an institution that can easily be turned against a woman who is involved with these types of relationships. I can't ignore those things. And I agree with Robyn when she said it, but the problem that I have in that situation isn't that Robyn was using these situations to shed light on the evils that occurred to these people in those situations, but rather she tried to spin it around so that she could shine the light back on herself, so that she can get pity points by saying that she too has been abused. What does that have to do with anything? Okay, fine. Maybe you were abused. I'm not even going to say that you weren't. I don't know. I don't know enough about your previous marriage or your previous relationship to call it either way. But what I do know is that in every situation, not everything fits to you. Not everything is about you. And when you make everything about you, then it starts to tell me who you are. Other people can suffer too. This isn't the Suffer Olympics or the Oppression Olympics where, because you suffered more than the other person, you get a gold medal. And if you did, what prize do you win? That you had a worse life than they did? But even if you did have a worse life, your life is going good now. These people are still putting their lives back together. And because of that and so many other things, like I look at Robyn and I see why she's a PR nightmare. I see why so many people dislike her. And it has nothing to do with the simple excuse that they try to make. Oh, they hate me because I came into the family later and I started getting along with Kody, and because I have a relationship I have with him, all of a sudden people dislike me. That's not why people dislike you. People dislike Robyn because they dislike Robyn. It has nothing really to do with Kody. Robyn is a dislikable person. Like, she tries to play cute, but you can see through that veneer of all the cute antics that she tries to pull and all the cute things that she tries to do, that deep down, she's a nasty person. And she's only concerned about herself. She's the type of person that when you're in a relationship with her, she's concerned with you only when the things that bother you affect her. So if you're having a good day and she's having a bad day, she's going to be mad at you because you're having a good day and you're not her friend because you're not helping her through tough times. But if she's having a good day and you're having a bad day, she's not going to stop her good day to try to figure out what's wrong with you. She's going to tell you that you need to take your bad time self somewhere else because you're starting to bring down her good times. And that in and of itself just... And the fact that she tries to manipulate every situation to serve her is part of what makes her such a dislikable character. And I just wanted to give that balance of what I saw when I started watching the show and then what I saw when I went back and some of the earlier signs of her acting the same way. So it's not that she all of a sudden started acting crazy in season 17. She's always been this way. And the fact that she was so comfortable as to act that way on camera, folks, that's a problem. And remember, if you're involved with people, pay attention to how the people you associate yourself with, how they treat other people. Because today they like you, today they love you, but what happens when you fall out of favor and they start treating you like they treat everybody else? That's my take. I'm James. This has been my take on reality, and I'm out. 'Cause I've been living life right like I